doing? Professor Pete here. This is lighting and rendering, and we are looking now at lighting. We're going to look at Arnold lights, so let's get right into it in 3ds Max. Here's my scene. I've already lit some stuff because it takes forever to render, and if your renders are taking, well, we'll talk about that later. So in my scene, I've got already a bunch of Arnold lights, and to do that, to create an Arnold light, you just go over to the third icon on the right here, and just click Arnold Light. When you click Arnold Light, you have an option of Skydome and different types of lights, and then once you click on the stage here, then it creates that light. So right now I've got a Skydome. There's a number of different types of lights, and the ones I'm going to show primarily are, wow, I got some weird glitch here. So, wow, super small. There's point, distant is a sun, point is for candles, etc. Spot is for, I'll show you, I've already got spotlights. Well, spotlight's a spotlight. A quad is interesting. It's like a bounce, like a card light. Disc, I don't use that one. It's probably the same as quad. You have a cylindrical, which is good for like volumetric lights. Skydome is what we're using. There is a photometric here too, and then there's a mesh light. So I'm not going to cover all of these. We'll just cover the ones that we're going to use. In fact, you may not end up needing them, but I'd say most of the time these lights are just accents in terms of lighting your scene. And so the one I'm using right now, I'm going to show you, is Skydome. So my Skydome is more or less in the middle of the scene. It doesn't really matter because it's self-illuminating light, and it just lights the whole place, and it has an infinite amount of light rays. So if we do look at this light under the modifier, you'll see that it's a Skydome. The light properties are on, and you can turn the lights on and off through this. And you'll see the color. I have it just set to white. You can change it by Kelvin or even by texture if you want to apply a texture map onto that light. And then there's the intensity and exposure. So the intensity is how bright that light is, and how exposed it is based on the second option. So you can play with these numbers, but because this light is more or less just like a fill to just soften the shadows, I end with a very low intensity and a very low exposure. For rendering, this is something later I'll talk about, but right now samples is 1, 2 is fine, because the more samples you put, the better you'll get shadows, the less noise you get in shadows, but it will take longer to render. I'll have a look at some other lights. Here is my spotlights. I made an instance of them as going across, so that's why I have Arnold 2 through 7. They're all the same. So when I make one adjustment to the intensity, it'll affect all the other spotlights. So that's kind of nice. So the intensity is 1.5. Again, it's white. And those are accent lights to just light up the room. Okay, so there's a bunch of them. There's 6 there. I also have a point light here, but for some reason it doesn't work very well. So to light the lamp, what I did was I went to the shader, and I just turned on the option under emission. So just to show you, go over to, the subsurface even is on, but emission I set to 1, and I just put it to a warm color so that it glows in the scene. So I did that through the texture. All right, so let's have a look at the results. So I'm not going to talk too much about rendering in this video, but here is the emission from the light, and that's the only light that's in the scene, and it looks pretty good. The thing glows, that's for sure, and you got some global illumination as it bounces against the wall. Here it is just with the Skydome light. That's all that's in here is Skydome. So you can see it's pretty, again, global illumination. The shadows are very soft under the sofa. A lot of noise. I'm not too worried about it right now. We can fix that later. With spots, you can see the spots are really intense. And this is also with the Skydome. This is just with the spots. And so again, you can see it's how dark it is without the Skydome in the scene. And then I went ahead and added an HDR under rendering environment. Okay, so I went and pulled up this HDR under bitmap. HDR Haven is a great place to get free HDR images, so go there and find some interiors, and then just you can load it up. Once it loads up, this is what it will render out. As you can see, the HDR, the lighting is much warmer, and it's just got the spots. So I think so far this is looking pretty good. The brick, of course, is pretty dark, but it looks okay. Then I finally rendered this out. This ended up taking 45 minutes. I changed the settings up under anti-aliasing, so it's under AA. I set it to 5, and now you've got really, the renders takes really long. It's 45 minutes long, but it looks pretty good. I had the HDR along with the spotlights. I decreased the intensity of the spotlights a bit so it didn't blow out too much, but I think this looks okay. So I don't have any windows in my scene, but I did notice some of you did have windows in your scene. So that, if that's the case, then again, create an Arnold light. All right, so I'm going to create a Skydome light and then try to simulate there's a window. Again, I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with this wall, but it's going to be an Arnold light. Make sure it's set to Skydome and put it into the scene. It doesn't matter where it is, right? I'm just going to put it up here. And I'm going to go to the modifier and see what we can do to change it. So you'll see the big thing is the shape. Under portrait mode, it says off. Make sure it's interior only since that's what we're dealing with. And now we can add like a window portal using quad and have the light from this shine through it. So I'm going to then add a other light, and this is going to be the portal. And I'm just going to click on here, there it is, but then change it through here. Sorry about that, it's really small. It's going to be a quad light, and I'll just scale this a little bit. 5.5, and just rotate it, and I'll just set it to portal here. So now the light will shine through this and not through any other part. So kind of neat, really fun. So there you have it. Hopefully this is enough. We'll see you in the next video.